30 plus. Thanks for that, Arafat. So we have just about 30 plus people on the call. So if you know you have a friend, you have a colleague, you know somebody that would benefit from today's session, you want to get them on the call. Today we'll be diving into how to develop a strategy to land a visa sponsored job, especially for those in the UK amidst the different policy changes here and there. And even for those in the US and also in Canada looking to land a job, and the strategies you've been deploying have not worked for you so far, this is the best place you want to be. All right. So get that colleague, get that family member, get that friend into this session, and let's have an amazing time together. Okay. So I'm going to dive right into the session. Okay. And our topic today, like I mentioned earlier, is developing a strategy to land visa sponsor jobs amidst the different changes, the policy changes, immigration roller coaster here and there. Okay. Now, before we get into the main meats of why we are here today, let's ask the question, why exactly are we here? We are here because of several reasons, but I'll highlight a few for you. And one of the reasons why we are here today is because so many of you currently on the call are on your post-study visa. You currently are a dependent, and you are simply looking at your visa, looking at your passport every day with the month counting down, and you really don't know what to do. You've tried to get that job, but nothing is working out for you. You've been applying to jobs, you've been getting ghosted. No feedback, no response from recruiters and organizations. And you are worried. You really don't know what to do. We have another category of people. Some of you are currently switching. You want to switch from your career path. You currently work in the warehouse, you work in retail, you stack the shelves at Tesco or wherever. You work in customer care or you work in healthcare, but you want to transition. You want to move into a career path that is more progressive. You want to move into a career path that is eligible for sponsorship. You want to leave that job where you really don't see a path forward for you and make a switch into a career path within the tech ecosystem, but you really don't know how to get started. All right. And we have some of you who are qualified. You have the right skills. You've been putting in the applications. You've been trying to land jobs, but you keep getting rejections and you are borderline frustrated at this point in time. And for some of you, you're just exhausted mentally, exhausted emotionally, and you don't know what to do. You've tried everything, nothing seems to work. And the most confusing part for so many people is the fact that you really don't know if what you're doing is working. Okay, so you've tried so many things, you've thrown so many things at the wall, but nothing seems to stick. So you don't know if your strategy is wrong. You don't know if it's right. You don't know if you should keep on at that path or you should make a change to your strategy. And that's the scariest part for you. So what I'll be doing for you today is I'll take all of you and I'll show you a couple of things. And the first thing I'll be showing you is how to identify the career path that would land you a job, especially a job that comes with visa sponsorship. And it doesn't matter where you are. The strategy is the same, irrespective of the region you currently reside in. Okay. Within the next 6 to 8 months, before the end of 2026, how do you start to get into the right career path that give you access to the jobs available that are high in demand and also eligible for sponsorship? I would also show you how to learn the skills in those areas. So once you've identified the high demand career path, the next question is, how do you learn the skills required to land a job in those areas, to land a visa sponsor job? Okay. And of course, once you've known how to learn the skill, not just the skills you need to learn, but how to learn the skill. Because how you learn determines if you would land a job and know how to do the job or not. And so many people learn the wrong way. Okay. And I would also show you how to gain the work experience because we are in a day and age where employers don't care about your credential. They don't care about your certificates. They don't care about your degrees. They want to know and ask a simple question. Have you done this job before? Do you have the experience? Don't tell me what you can do. Show me what you've done. So I'll show you how to gain experience even without getting a job. So you position yourself in front of the employer as the best candidate for that job. And finally, I'll show you how to start today. So all the things I'll be showing you today would be practical. So over the next 1.5 hours, we'll dive into a strategy session broken into two parts. Part one, which is how to get the job, and part two, how to get the sponsorship. Okay, so I want you to ensure you don't have any distractions. Go somewhere quiet, have a notepad, get a pen. You know somebody that this would benefit, get them into this session. We'll also have a Q&A before we call it a day. I have my colleagues in the chat, so if you have questions before we get to Q&A, please feel free. Drop your questions in the chat, and somebody would pick the question and respond. I'd also dive into the chat, time in, time out to see if we have any questions right there. JM, good evening, and thanks for joining our session today. So I can see JM sending a message already in the chat saying good evening. Good to have you here. Now, for those of you meeting us for the first time, who is Tenalytics? Or what is Tenalytics? What are we all about? And what do we do? Tenalytics is the leading educational technology company, and the focus for us is on helping people land high-paying jobs within the tech ecosystem. We currently operate out of Alberta in Canada and also London in the UK. Over the last 5 years, we've been able to help over 4,000 plus people with no prior experience, and we've helped them transition into the tech ecosystem and land their very first jobs within the space. We've helped nurses become healthcare data analysts. We've helped medical doctors, physicians become business architects, healthcare reporting analysts. We've helped accountants become project managers. We've helped bankers become cybersecurity professionals and business analysts, and so on and so forth. No experience, similar strategy. Over 4,000 plus people over the last 5 years have been able to transition, and that's what we do. Helping people land high paying jobs within the tech ecosystem. All right. We have over 172 full-time employees and 300 plus industry experts across multiple regions from the UK to the US to Canada. And these are the professionals that help you transition and make the jump into the tech ecosystem. We focus on different areas, including data analytics, health tech, business analysis, data engineering, financial analytics, agile project management, DevOps engineering, product design, and so on and so forth. So this is who we are at Tenalytics. And of course, for myself leading the session today, my name is Adeza Suleiman, and I'm a technology expert with over a decade experience cutting across data analytics, management consulting, data engineering, and so on and so forth. Just like so many of you, my first degree was in industrial chemistry. I did not study anything related to tech, just like you did not study computer science and you did not study tech as well. So I studied industrial chemistry in the university, and my first job out of school was as a management consultant. All right. So I'd never done anything related to tech, but I was able to make the transition into data analytics. Currently, I'm the founder of Tenalytics and also the co-founder of Amdari. Amdari is a sister company to Tenalytics, operating out of London in the UK, helping people gain work experience. So for those of you that will be joining Tenalytics by the end of today's session, when you learn with us at Tenalytics, we move you to Amdari, where you gain work experience through internship. And I would explain how this works before we wrap up our session today. I currently work as a data analytics and engineering contractor in Canada. I've lived and I've worked in the UK as a data science consultant, customer insights analyst. I've worked for companies in the US, working remotely back when I was in Nigeria. I've worked with one of the largest energy conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa as a data analyst, management information systems analyst, and business data analyst. And I've worked with FITC, owned by the Bankers Committee and the Central Bank of Nigeria as a data analytics consultant. So my experience spans across multiple sectors, from energy to sports to financial services, automobile, and so on and so forth. And as we move on, I'll share a bit of my journey on some of the things I did where I made mistakes, how I was able to navigate those mistakes and ensure that when we started helping people transition, over 4,000 plus people, we ensured they did not make the same mistakes that I made. All right. So this is where you get your pen, you get your notepad, and we are diving into the strategy, developing a strategy to landing a high paying job, developing a strategy to landing a job that comes with visa sponsorship. Again, it doesn't matter where you are, you'll be gaining invaluable skills and knowledge from today's session. Okay. Samuel has a question. Good evening. What is available for someone with 13 years experience in the technicality of medical devices? A fantastic career path for you is healthcare informatics. Okay. And I'll be sharing with you today how you can get into a career path in healthcare informatics, especially within the health tech space. Okay. So just sit back, relax, Samuel, and let's dive into part one. So part one. So if you have your pen and your notepad and you're taking notes, just write part one at the top of your notes, how to get the job. This is the most important part, more important than the sponsorship. How do I get the job? Okay, so that's the first thing we'd focus on before we focus on getting the sponsorship. Now, how to get the job. And I'm going to break this down into multiple parts. And the first part under getting the job is you want to get into a high demand career path, and ensuring that the high demand career path is also eligible for sponsorship. The career path you choose today will determine if you get a job in 2026 or not. And when you choose a career path that is high in demand and a career path that is eligible for sponsorship, you make getting the job 10 times easier because you are in a career path employers are actively searching for. And I want you to just think about it this way. You open a beautiful store in a quiet street with no foot traffic, and you want to sell stuff to customers. It's in a quiet street. Your branding is fantastic. You have a nice setup, but no customers would walk into your store. Why? Because you've opened that store in a quiet street. No traffic, no demand. Now imagine opening a simple store in a busy market where people are already there. People are already looking for you and people are already buying from you. When you are in a low demand career, what you've done to yourself is you are basically setting up a shop where nobody is walking by. So if you choose a career path that is low in demand, you are setting yourself up for stress. You need extreme efforts just to get noticed, endless applications with little to no response. But in a high demand career path, you are simply opening your shop in a market where customers are already searching for and they want to get across to you. Recruiters would come to you. Opportunities are visible every single day. Even if your positioning is average, you still get noticed and you start to get offers. So choosing the right career path is extremely important. You want to open your shop in a street that has high foot traffic, high demand, where people are looking for you and people are already buying. And that's the importance of getting into a career path that is in high demand. So that's number one on your list. So how do you identify the career path that are in high demand? We've done that for you. So at Analytics, every quarter, what we do is we look at the different job boards across the different regions, the major job boards, Indeed, Glassdoor, Civil Library, read.co.uk, UK Visa Jobs, Built-in, Total Jobs, and so on. And what we simply do is identify the career path with the highest frequency of demand. Highest frequency of demand. Simply meaning What career path are employers recruiting for today? Now, we don't just stop there. We also look at the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report. And this is a report generated every 2 years. It shows the career path that would grow in demand over the next 5 to 10 years and the career path that will decline in demand over the next 5 to 10 years. So what you want to do is to get into a career path that would grow in demand. So we took our analysis from here and we compared it with the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs reports to see the career path that are high in demand. Are they the same career path that would grow in demand over the next 5 to 10 years? We established that. And number three, we did regional analysis across the UK, the US, Canada, the three major economies. And we found out in the UK, you want to be in a career path that is eligible for the skilled worker visa, a career path that is eligible for sponsorship. So we looked at these three different broad analyses and we identified something very interesting. So from the career path with the highest frequency to the career path that would grow over the next 5 to 10 years and the career path that are eligible for sponsorship, we came up with these career paths and I want to categorize them as non-coding career path. So these are career paths that does not require you to go learn how to code, learn how to write, lines of code and scripts and so on and so forth, learn a programming language and all of that. These are non-coding career paths. And that would be the focus for this session today. All right. And you have the business analyst career path, the data analyst, the product design, the agile project manager, the HR analyst, the financial analyst, and then the health tech professionals, broken into three different categories: the healthcare data analyst, the healthcare business analyst, and the healthcare project manager. So for Samuel, who asked the question, I have 13 years with medical equipment knowledge or medical equipment, experience. What area should I look into? Number one, which is the healthcare data analytics program. These would give you the skills to enable you become a healthcare informatics professional. All right. Now you'd see that I have kept some codes right beneath every single career path. And what I've simply done is, if you click on the link to take you to the eligible occupations for the skilled worker visa, you can identify any of these career paths. Let's take the business analyst, for example. All right. If I click on this link right here, and again, all the links, all the materials I'll be sharing with you today, you have them on my slide. So if you want to get the slide for today's session, you want to get the recording, make sure you fill the attendance form. So I have my colleague on the call. You'd see Arafat on the call. Arafat would drop the links. Arafat from Tenalytics will drop the links for the attendance. Make sure you fill so that you get all the materials I'll be sharing with you, all the links and every single thing we'll be discussing today. You don't miss out on anything. All right. So don't make sure you fill the attendance. Very important. So if I click on this, it opens up the gov.uk website that shows me the eligible occupations for the skilled worker visa. And this is what it looks like. Okay. So if we scroll all the way down, and let's start checking for the different career path one after the other. So business analysis is 2133 or 2431. And all I need to do is to scroll all the way down to 2133. And the moment I get to 2133, what do I see? IT business analyst. All right. So which means if I get a job as a business analyst and that job is from a company that has a license to sponsor and they give me a COS, I can apply to get a skilled worker visa and stay back in the UK to work in the UK. You'd see higher skilled. Higher skilled simply means this career path is eligible for sponsorship with no restrictions. Okay. I can check for other career paths. We can check for the product designer, the agile project manager, the financial analyst, and so on and so forth. So if we go to, let's say the product designer, for example, 2141, okay, 2141, I scroll all the way down, 2141, these are web design professionals. So you'd get to see UI UX designers, UI UX designers, UI UX designers, user experience, user interface designers. These are your product designers. Okay, these are your product designers. So if I get a job as a UI UX designer, which is a product designer role, I can simply land visa sponsorship. Okay, so and there's so many others. I've kept all the codes for you, and you can go check out all the codes, and you see that these are career path eligible for sponsorship. And this is what you must do. This is what Sharon did. Sharon joined our business analysis program. Sharon was a healthcare assistant, no experience in tech. But what did she do? She wanted to land a job within the tech ecosystem. She wanted to transition from being a healthcare assistant into a different role. And her transformation is proof that having a targeted strategy is what opens doors for you. She joined our business analysis program in March 2025. And by May that same year, she had landed a job as a business data analyst, still with the NHS, and she was able to keep her sponsorship. So part of the things we did for her was tailor her CV to the business analyst CV. She joined all the mentorship sessions. She got strategies on how to apply to jobs internally, built a portfolio. She applied to jobs, and in May 2025, about 3 months after joining, she landed a job as a business data analyst. That's Sharon's story. You have Ikmat. Ikmat was a stay-at-home mom. Ikmat had a 2-year employment gap because she stayed back to take care of her newborn baby. She moved to the UK to complete a master's in public health, and she wanted to restart her career and secure sponsorship. So what did she do? She joined our data analytics program, completed the program. We worked on her CV for her, worked on her LinkedIn profile, prepared her for interviews, showed her where to apply to jobs, how to apply to jobs. And Ikmat was able to land a job with the NHS as an information analyst, also with full visa sponsorship. So from a stay-at-home mom to an NHS information analyst role. And that was Ikmat, who had no experience in tech. While she was doing a master's in public health, she realized that all the jobs she saw when she looked for jobs on different job boards, the jobs required the use of Excel, required the use of SQL, and other tools and technologies that she wasn't learning during her master's program. So she realized that when I'm done with my master's, I'm going to struggle to land a job because the jobs require specific set of skills that I don't have. And that was the push, the driver behind ICMAT registering for the data analytics program. And she was able to transition to an information analyst with the NHS. You have Toyin. Toyin was a pharmacist back in Nigeria. She moved to the UK for her master's. Toyin was able to transition from a pharmacist to a pharmacy data analyst, also with the NHS. And the job came with sponsorship. So what did Toyin do? Toyin was a pharmacist. She had healthcare background, wanted to, make use of that and transition into the healthcare space within the UK, but in a different capacity. She didn't want to do just, pharmacy or, get into nursing and all of that. So what she did was join the data analytics program, applied to multiple health tech roles. So like Samuel, who wants to, identify the career path eligible for you, who has 13 years experience in medical devices and so on. Healthcare informatics is one of them. Healthcare data analyst is one of them. Healthcare reporting analyst is one of them. Okay. And that was exactly what Toyin did. Applied to multiple health tech roles, tailored every application. We prepared her for our interviews. And Toyin was able to land her first job as a benefit analyst. That was how she got into the NHS, as a benefit analyst. And in January last year, 2025, she transitioned from a benefit analyst role to a pharmacy data analyst role with the NHS. And these amazing professionals actually created videos. We might not have enough time to play all the videos, but I'll try to play maybe one or two. Ikmat recorded a video talking about her experience. Okay, so before the end of our session, I'll probably play one or two of these. You listen to these amazing professionals. Same with Ramat. Ramat was in customer service. She knew she couldn't land sponsorship in a customer service role. So what did she do? She joined our business analysis program, did all the amazing stuff from tailoring her CV, joining the mentorship. We prepared her for multiple interviews and she built a portfolio. So everything that these professionals did, I'll be breaking it down for you. So you can do exactly the same thing and get the exact same results that it got, because success is scalable. If you follow the process, follow the steps, you'll get the same type of results. Okay, so she applied to multiple jobs. We prepared her for interviews, tailored every application, and she was able to land a job also with the NHS as a business architect. All right. I'll also show you their profiles on LinkedIn. These are amazing, amazing professionals. And if you notice what I've done so far from the beginning of our session, I've shown you amazing ladies. Ramat, who was a customer resolution agent, customer service professional, transitioning to a business architect. I've shown you Toyin, who was a pharmacist, but currently a pharmacy data analyst. Ikmat, who was a stay-at-home mom, currently an information analyst with the NHS. Sharon, who was a healthcare assistant, but currently a business data analyst. These are amazing women. And I'll tell you the reason why I have shown you 4 women so far. Okay, I'm going to show you other, success stories, but I have something for those who stay till the end of the session, especially for the ladies. Okay, I have something for the women on the call, something for the ladies on the call, and that's the reason why I'm projecting these ladies. So you see that if these ladies can do it, then I can also do the same. So when we get there, I'll show you the amazing, amazing stuff I have for you before we wrap up our session. So don't forget, we are on part 1, how to get the job. And number 1 is get into a high demand career path. And that was what all these amazing ladies did. Sharon got into business analysis. Ikmat got into data analytics. Toyin got into data analytics. Ramat got into business analysis. So once you've done that, getting the job becomes a lot easier for you because you're in a career path employers are constantly recruiting for. Number 2 on the list on how to get that job is what? How to learn the skills required. Okay, how to learn the skills. So for a lot of people, they fail in 2 ways. Number 1 is they don't know the skills. They don't know the skills required. And I've seen so many people tell me and argue with me that business analysts don't need Excel. They don't need to know Power BI. They don't need to know SQL. Not in 2026, not even in 2025. If you're a business analyst and you don't have these skills, you would stay very long applying to jobs and you won't get opportunities. So you need to know the skills required. And after knowing the skills, how you learn the skills also matter. How you learn the skills determine if you eventually know how to do that job when you get the job. Okay, so imagine you're watching a football match or you're training for a football match. You want to be a footballer. Okay. For some people who want to become footballers, they train by watching videos. They watch games. They watch every football match. They memorize the tactics. They know every single rules of the game because they've watched so many videos. And you have another person who does what? They don't just watch videos. They play the game. They play the matches. They play football matches. They get tackled. They make mistakes. And as they make mistakes, they improve. Now, imagine these 2 players show up for selection. One of them have watched 100 videos, 100 games, 100 football matches. They know all the rules. Okay. So we have candidate A who has watched over 100 games and they also know all the rules. And then you have candidate B who who has actually played, they've played 50 matches. If you want to select the football player to join your team, who would you select? Candidate A or B? Just type into the chat. Candidate A or candidate B? A has watched over 100 games. They know all the rules, but B has actually played 50 matches. They've made mistakes. They've improved. They've done this. They've done that. Who would you choose? Candidate B, absolutely. iPhone Samuel says B, B, B 3 times. Okay, Lee says B, JM says B, Ferdinand says B. Absolutely, I agree with you. Mojisola says B as well. So most of the mistakes people make is not knowing how to learn the skills. All right, so I'll show you the best way to learn. Okay, now how you learn the skill also matters. And the best way to learn if you want to land a job is to learn in a project-based environment. And what is a project-based environment? A project-based environment is learning by doing the real work. So if you want to become a data analyst, you learn by doing the work of a data analyst. If you want to become a healthcare data analyst, you learn by doing the work of a healthcare data analyst. You want to become a project manager, you learn by doing the work of a project manager. That is learning in a project-based environment. Very important. And I'll show you practically how this works, and how you can also do the same. Now, when you learn by doing the real work, what next? It's just like a footballer who wants to be somebody who wants to become a footballer. You don't learn by watching videos. You learn by doing what? Playing football matches. Even if you don't have a team, you have a field where you play with your friends. You have a field where you play with, other people who want to become footballers. And by doing that, you pick up the skills required to do the main football. And that's the exact same thing you apply. If you want to become a data analyst, you must learn by doing the job of a data analyst. You don't learn by watching data analytics videos. So for a lot of people, and I made this mistake myself over 13 years ago, I was watching videos on YouTube, watching videos on Coursera, watching videos on Udemy. It's made no difference and it had no positive impact because I got stuck. I had nobody to reach out to help me address very simple issues. And I was watching videos thinking I was learning the skills required to do the job. But what was required to do the job was entirely different. When you have interviews, YouTube would not be in the room preparing you for that interview. So how do you prepare for an interview as a project manager or as a business analyst? YouTube, or from a professional who is a business analyst, who knows how to do that job, who has done the job and can guide you on what you need to know. Now, when you've learned in a project-based environment, what next? You need to showcase your work. People need to know the quality of the work you've done, how good you are. All right. And you do that by building a portfolio. So when I was talking about ICMAT, RAMAT, and how they got jobs, I mentioned that they built a portfolio. Your portfolio is your warehouse. Your portfolio is your showroom. That's where you show the world how good you are. Okay. So if somebody, let's take Victoria. Victoria wants to get a job with the NHS as a healthcare data analyst. Victoria must work. She must learn by working as a healthcare data analyst with hospital data, medical records, medical data, and so on and so forth. And when she's done that, she must have evidence in the form of a portfolio that she's actually done that job. And I'll show you what this looks like practically. Okay. So what does it mean to learn in a project-based environment? So let's look at that together. Now, I'm going to take you to one of the classrooms, the healthcare data analytics program. Okay, I'll take you to the classroom and I'll show you how people learn in a project-based environment. Now, they want to learn Excel. Let me see if you can still see my screen. Yes, you can. So you want to learn Excel. You have somebody learning Excel by just watching videos, but you have another person learning Excel by working on projects, real world projects with medical data, medical records. Of course, the data has been codified for data privacy. You can't tie any part of the data to an individual or any hospital. We've changed and modified the data, but these are data sets that are medical records. So you want to become a healthcare data analyst, you must learn Excel by using Excel to solve problems using medical data. Okay. So if you look at the class material for Excel class one, you'd see a project for a hospital, Medcare Hospital Group. Now, the Medcare Hospital Group currently have a problem. And the problem is the leadership does not have visibility into several areas within the hospital. The leadership doesn't know the financial risk from rejected insurance claims. The leadership doesn't know how the length of stay of patients affects the hospital. The leadership doesn't know how, the operational efficiencies across the different hospital branches within that region. And this is because data is spread across multiple silos. So you will learn by solving this problem for Medcare UK Hospital Group. You help them, first of all, bring their data into a central location, and you start to use Excel to solve this problem for them. And you don't do it alone, you do it in class. So you'd see the class recording. It's a live class with a real professional where you have the opportunity to ask questions. And if you do something and you don't get it right, you can share your screen, you get real-time feedback. And if I miss this class, for example, I can come back any day of the week, click on the class recording and watch the class, relieve everything that happened in class
Money just
today. Okay. So you'd see your professional, your facilitator helping you. You're working on the problems together. You have questions, you're asking questions, you're solving the problem. And when you solve you can see NHS data, you can see BOPA, and so on. These are organizations, healthcare organizations within the UK. And you get to work on this data, work on this problem, solve the problem for this particular hospital. And when you've done that, you have a portfolio where you warehouse that project. And I'll show you what a portfolio looks like. Okay. So this is an example. If you go to Excel class 2, it's pretty much the same. If you go to the class material, the same hospital, but this time around, they want to see a dashboard. The leadership in the hospital wants to see a dashboard, helping them identify different areas within the hospital. They want to know if all the hospital beds are effectively utilized. They want to know, different aspects. And what you do is you use Excel to solve this problem and you create a dashboard that looks like this. This is learning in a project-based environment. You're not learning to become, a healthcare data analyst, but you're solving random projects. No, these are healthcare related projects, healthcare data, doing the job of a healthcare data analyst even before you get that job. And that's how you learn. And when you learn in a project-based environment, you then build a portfolio. And I'll show you an example of a portfolio. Okay. This is a portfolio for Victoria. And Victoria had completed a project called Deep Care Hospital ER Visit Analysis. So every project you complete, you upload into this portfolio. We show you how to build a portfolio. It's everybody. It doesn't matter the program you join. You will or you must have a portfolio. Okay. So this hospital, the ER had long wait times for patients. So the analysis here was focused on reducing the patient wait time and increasing the patient satisfaction. And anybody can come to these projects. A potential employer, a recruiter can access this project because the link to your portfolio would be on your CV and also on your LinkedIn profile. So they can come in here, they can click on this link, and it takes them to the project that you've completed. Deep care hospital, emergency room visits. You can click and select. If I deselect everything, the dashboard goes blank. I want to see data for Q1 only. I click on Q1, only Q1 data reappears. And this is the same way recruiters would be able to see what you've done. And what does this do for you? This is evidence that you've done the job. If this company is looking for somebody who knows how to use Tableau and they see what you've done, they know that you have experience, you have the knowledge, you've done it before. And this is how you must learn. You must learn in a project-based environment. Very important. You want to become a data analyst, you must do the job of a data analyst. You want to become a business analyst, you must learn by doing the work of a business analyst. You want to become a healthcare data analyst, you must do the job of a healthcare data analyst, and that's how you must learn. And when you've learned in that way, what happens? You must build a portfolio of projects within that space. That's how you learn, not by watching videos and by practicing and completing random tasks and random assignments. So remember how to get the job. Part one. Number one is get into a high demand career path. Number two is what? Learn the skills the right way. How you learn the skills is always very important to you landing the job. Okay. Now, number three in our strategy is gaining work experience to show employers that you're the best candidate for the job. Now, imagine you're competing with somebody who has experience and you don't have experience, but you can only gain experience by getting the job. So it's a catch-22 situation, the chicken and the egg situation. Which one comes first, or which one came first? Did the chicken come first or did the egg come first? Okay. So gaining work experience, even without landing a job, should be your focus area, because employers don't care what you tell them you can do. They care about what you have done before. And for somebody who wants to land sponsorship, you'll be competing with so many other candidates. And the question you should ask yourself is, how do I differentiate myself? Do I have a gap between the people I'm competing with, the competition, or am I just the same? If I'm the same, then you know you keep on struggling. But if you can stand out from the competition by showing that you have work experience, then you start to unlock opportunities to land a job and to land sponsorship. So how do you gain work experience even without landing a job first? Number one is in a project-based environment, just like I explained. So when you learn with analytics, you learn by working on projects. When you learn Excel, you work on projects using Excel. As a project manager, you learn by using Jira to manage projects. That's how you learn. So all the projects you complete in class, they form part of your work experience. Then you also have your internship with Amdari. Amdari is a sister company to Tenalytics. Amdari is registered in Canada, Alberta, and also London in the UK. So you can show any employer that I have work experience with Amdari. I have work experience with Tenalytics. And I'm going to show you how important this is in the grand scheme of things. So just give me 1 second and I'll share um, the LinkedIn profiles of some of the amazing professionals I talked about earlier. Okay. So let's check out Ramat, for example. Ramat. Ramat was a customer service professional, but today Ramat is a business architect, NHS business architect. Now, if you go to Ramat's profile, one of the things you'd see is you both worked at Tenalytics. And if you scroll down, you'd see her current role as a business architect with the NHS. And you'd also get to see she worked as a customer resolution agent and she also worked with Tenalytics. Now, what does this mean to you? It means that you are positioning yourself as somebody with experience. You're not showcasing and telling people, I'm a learner, I'm a beginner, I don't have skills in this area, and so on. No, positioning is very important. Okay. And when you've learned in a project-based environment, all the tools and technologies you would learn to solve problems while in class, those are the same tools and technologies you deploy when you get that job. So what did Ramat do and what do we advise you to do that works like magic? You position yourself as somebody on that role. So you're not a learner, you're not a trainee, you are a business analyst because you are doing the job of a business analyst. What you are doing with us is doing the job of a business analyst because you're not learning by watching videos, you are learning by doing the job. Okay. And that was exactly what Ramat did. And of course, by the time she put in her application and everything, they saw that she had experience. She wasn't coming in as a new beginner. And a business architect is just a fancy way of saying a business analyst. Okay, so a business analyst, you have different roles within that space. As a business analyst, you can work as a business architect, as a change management analyst, as a process analyst, and so on and so forth. Okay, so Ramat was able to land a job as a business architect. Let's go to Ikmat. Ikmat as well. Ikmat, a stay-at-home mom to information analyst. If you scroll all the way to her profile, you'd also get to see data analyst with Tenalytics. Very important. So when you position yourself as somebody who has experience, employers value you more. Employers would see you as somebody who would not come in and not know what to do. They know you've done this before and they're convinced that you would know how to do the job for them. So remember, employers don't care about what you can do. They care about what you have done. So how do you gain experience? Like I showed you earlier, all the projects you work on in class, all the projects you complete while working on projects in class, they get into your portfolio. You join 2 months internship with Amdari, based in Alberta, Canada, London in the UK. That also forms part of your experience. And then you build a portfolio. Your portfolio would warehouse all these projects. The link to your portfolio would be on your CV and the link would be on your LinkedIn profile. So any recruiter anywhere in the world can look at the project you've done, the quality of the project, and they know that, yes, you do have the skills and you do have the experience to do the job for them. That's extremely important. These recruiters already know, they understand your capabilities when they see your CV. They already see your value. Okay. When you position yourself as somebody who has experience with a portfolio, before you get into the room, they've seen everything. They know your capabilities. They've seen your value. They know you are a strong candidate for that job. And as long as you can do well during that interview, you will land the job. So when you ask yourself, how do I gain work experience? This is the playbook for you to gain work experience. Project-based learning, work on as many projects. Number two, internship and building a portfolio as evidence for the work that you've done. Now, that was exactly what Pedro did. Pedro got his sponsorship in December last year, just before the end of the year, December 2025. So Pedro really wanted to get a job, okay, because he was running, his visa was about to expire. And what did he do? He came into one of our programs, and this is the interaction between himself and his coach during his internship with Amdari. So he's saying, "Hello, Victoria. Hope your day went well. I received an offer today. Thanks for all your support and encouragement." And Victoria is saying, "Wow, congratulations, Pedro. Hope the pay is great and you are good with the offer." And Pedro is saying, "Yeah, it is 36% more than my current job. And it also comes with visa sponsorship." Okay. I can play Pedro's video. Maybe I'll play just a snippet because of time, but I want you to listen to Pedro, how internship, work experience helped him get the job. And what Pedro said was simple. He said that he was able to have a tailored CV that got him more interviews. And when he got interviews, Victoria, who was his coach at that time, prepared him for those interviews. And the projects he completed were the things he went to the interview to talk about. When they ask questions like, tell me about a time, competency-based questions, you'd have good projects, good stories to tell. Okay. So I think we're going to listen to Pedro, maybe just 1 minute or 1.5 minutes of Pedro, and let's get to hear some of the things that Pedro said. And don't forget, if you want to listen to the entire conversation on how Pedro was able to transition, how did he get his sponsorship in December last year, make sure you fill the attendance if you haven't done that already. Okay, make sure you fill the attendance so you don't miss out on anything. So if you click on this link right here, it's going to take you to the video of Pedro. So, but let's listen to Pedro very quickly, and then I'll come back to show you number 4. I've shown you number 1, identify the right career path, high demand career path, eligible for sponsorship. Number 2 is know the skills to learn and learn the skills the right way in a project-based environment, and by also doing what? Building a portfolio to showcase to the world how good you are. Number 3 is gain work experience, because employers want you for what you have done, not just what you can do. I'll come back to show you what number 4 is, and then we'll move into sponsorship, how to get sponsorship. Okay. So let's go to listen to Pedro very quickly. Let me see, Pedro. That's Pedro right there. And let me be sure that you can all see and hear Pedro. Okay, yes, you will be able to hear Pedro. So sit back, relax. I'll play, I think, just 1 minute or 1.5 minutes, and then we'll come back. So listen to Pedro and enjoy.
Thank you very much, Pedro. So what specific aspect of this internship would you say helped you ace your interview?
Okay. For starters, Amdari helped. They have several services. I think the very first one I opted for was the CV rebuild. That is very, very important. And after the session, my CV got a lot better. I knew I was getting a lot more interviews, but I was really picky about the companies I wanted to join. So the CV rebuild was very, very good. And when I did get called for this interview, they also helped with interview preparation sessions. That was very good. That's put me in the right place to answer, to predict questions that were going to be asked, and that really helped to land the role. Then the experience with Andari was amazing. We had, I was in the SOC analysts cohort. We dabbled into several projects, ranging from SIM analysis, we're building VMs and doing malware analysis. And yes, I mentioned that during my interview, and yes, it really did help.
Okay.
So that's Pedro. Pedro, the latest sponsored, professional in town. Absolutely phenomenal professional. So Pedro was able to get his sponsorship. And if you listen to the few seconds that I played, he talked about CV. He had his CV rebuild. Okay, we do that for you. It's part of the package. Free CV review, free CV revamp, and this gives you the industry standard CV. What happens after that is always magical. You start to get interviews. And if you also listen carefully, when he started getting interviews, and this particular job that he got, he was prepped for the interview by Victoria, his coach. And when he got the offer, he sent a message to Victoria letting her know that he had gotten the offer, and he came with sponsorship. So work experience is extremely important, because these are the things you get to say. The projects you've completed, these are the stories you get to tell when you get into the room during your interview. And number 4 on the list of how to get the job, which I dare say is even more important, is referencing. A lot of people ignore this. But when you get hired, getting hired gets you in the room. But having a reputable organization to vouch for you is what keeps you in that room. So even after you get the job, you haven't kept the job yet. Every employer in the UK, every employer anywhere in the world would want to do a background check on you. They want to validate the skills you have. So they want to reach out to where you've utilized these skills. You say you know how to use Jira, Trello as a project manager. You know how to use Draw.io, Lucidchart as a business analyst. You know how to use Tableau, SQL as a data analyst. Where have you used these tools and technologies before? So they want to reach out to where you utilize those skills and get validation from those organizations. And that's where we come in. So when you look at people like ICMAT, for example, the NHS reached out to us to validate ICMAT skills. When Ramat got a job as well with the NHS reached out to us to validate Ramat skills. And this is what a typical reference request looks like. This came from the Southeast NHS Foundation Trust. This particular candidate got a job as a pathology data analyst. He joined our healthcare data analytics program, got a job as a pathology data analyst, and the NHS reached out to me. Dear Deza Suleiman, we are recruiting this candidate for this role. He has been offered the role of a pathology data analyst and has given permission for us to approach you for a reference. Okay. And of course, all I needed to do was to click on this link, fill all the details, answer all the questions. And these are typical routine questions. He has gotten this job. Does he have the skills? Has he utilized these tools or technologies? What are his strengths and weaknesses? What's the best way to manage these candidates? Were they punctual? And so on and so forth. So they ask all these questions to be sure that they're hiring the right person for the job. And that's where we also come in, the referencing. So this is how you keep the job. Even after you've gotten the job, the referencing helps you keep the job. So how to get the job? Very important. Number one, get into a high demand career path. A career path employers are recruiting for, career path that are eligible for sponsorship. Number two, learn the skills the right way. How do you learn the right way? In a project-based environment and showcasing your skills and the project you've completed in a portfolio. Number three, you must gain work experience to separate yourself from the competition. And you gain work experience through the project you complete in class and also through your internship with Amdari. Number four, have a reputable organization that can vouch for you, provide a reference for you when you need that reference. Now, before we move on, I want to ask a quick question, and then we move on to I'll show you the skills. For the data analyst, what skills do you need? For the business analyst, what skills? I would go through that very quickly. Then I would quickly show you what you should focus on if you want to get sponsorship in 2026. All right. And here's my question. I've shown you this page before. These are the career paths that are high in demand, career path employers are recruiting for, career paths that are eligible for sponsorship. I want you to type into the chat which areas are you interested in? Business analyst, data analyst, agile project manager, product designer, HR analyst, financial analyst, or health tech. Health tech is broken into three: healthcare data analyst, healthcare business analyst, and healthcare project manager. So just type into the chat. I'd like to know your thoughts. Ada says data analyst, business analyst, data analyst. Ismaila says data analyst. Olunike data. Okay. Kelechi chose three: business analyst, data analyst, and health tech. That's interesting. Abimbola says healthcare project manager. Phenomenal. Okay. Minima Blessing says data analyst. Patrick, Shalom healthcare and analysis. Does tech certification matter? Steve, I'm going to touch on that. Okay. When it comes to certification, I'll touch on that. Okay. I think your question has already been answered anyways. Ferdinand says data science. Unfortunately, I'm not talking about data science today because data science is a coding career path. is a career path that requires coding. And today we're talking about non-coding career path. But that's a fantastic career path, Ferdinand. Retail business analyst, absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so but I'm going to also show you data science because it's one of the programs we offer. It's not just part of what I'll be talking about or emphasizing on today, Ferdinand. So feel free, still stay back, ask your questions. I'll take and answer your questions. All right. So that's the most important thing. What you've done today, what you've done now, selecting the career path is the most important thing you want to do. I made this decision 13 years ago where I decided that I wanted to become a data analyst. And I had I was confused. I was thinking, should I do software engineering? That was I thought software engineering was the in thing. Okay. If I get into software engineering, I could work with so many organizations. But eventually, I settled for data analytics. All the mistakes I made, I did all the YouTubes. Okay. I had 1,001 courses on Udemy that I never finished. I made all those mistakes. And what we've done over the years is to ensure that people like you don't make the same mistakes when transitioning. And I've given you the playbook. Get into a high demand career, learn the skills the right way by working in a project-based environment and also showcasing your skills by building a portfolio. Number 3, gain work experience. Showcase to employers that you have experience through the project to complete in class while learning in a project-based environment, and also your 2 month internship with Amdari. And number 4 is have a reputable organization that can vouch for you. Okay, now let's dive into the career path. And I'm going to touch on the first two, business analyst and the healthcare business analyst. Now, what does a business analyst do? The healthcare business analyst is a business analyst as well. The only difference is that the healthcare business analyst focuses on healthcare. They focus on medical organizations. They focus on healthcare data. They focus on medical insurance companies and so on. Okay, but the business analysts and the healthcare business analysts, at the core of the skills, they're exactly the same. You learn the same skills, you learn the same, competence areas. The difference is one person focuses on different industries and different sectors, while the other one focuses on healthcare. Okay, now let's imagine a business analyst in the first place is anyone who helps an organization identify problems, improve on processes, and help them implement solutions. So let's imagine that a hospital wants to have a patient management system, a PMS. So currently, the hospital does their patient records manually. If you go to the hospital, they take down your details in a note or they give you a form for you to fill. So it's manual. And the hospital wants to move away from that manual process into an automated process, which is called a patient management system, which is a software that would record the patient details and have that on the computer. Now, what does the business analyst do? The business analyst would first of all understand the problem. So what's the problem with the current process, the manual process? They would speak with the doctors, speak with the nurses, speak with administrators, and understand that, okay, the manual process has long wait times. Okay, patient records are usually lost because they are on paper, manual. So the business analyst would further, when they understand the problem, what do? They analyze the current process. So how does the current process run from start till finish? They identify the gaps, they identify inefficiencies in the workflow. And after doing that, they create something called a business requirement document. So by speaking to the medical doctors, to the nurses, to the physicians, to the hospital administrators, they would ask key questions on what do we want this patient management system to have? Oh, we want it to be able to, for people to book appointments online from the comfort of their home. We want it to be able to track patient records automatically. Patients should also be able to track their records. And we also want billing integrated into the patient management system. So the business analyst will take all these requirements, create a document called the business requirement document, and give it to the technology team that would build that software. So the business analyst would also work with the developers, work with the technology team to ensure that that software is built to meet the needs and the requirements of the hospital. And when it is ready, they would also ensure that they test the system, they test the software to confirm that it works properly before it goes live. And they also assist in implementation by carrying out training, workshops, and so on and so forth. That's what the business analyst in an organization would do. Okay, so you would learn Excel, Power BI, and SQL for data analytics. You would learn process mapping, project initiation and planning, Agile and Scrum for projects, software development lifecycle, requirement fundamentals, elicitation to ask the right questions so you can get the answers you need to come up with your requirements. Okay, stakeholder analysis and engagement, and AI for business analysis using ChatGPT. So the healthcare business analyst is pretty much the same in terms of tools and technologies. The only difference is the healthcare business analyst focuses on the healthcare sector. So you want to work with the NHS, you want to work with medical organizations, and so on and so forth. All right. And that's what it takes for you to become a business analyst. Classes are on Saturdays, typically. Your live classes are on Saturdays in the morning, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. UK time. For those in different regions, say you are in the US, you are in Canada, in North America, for example, you have a class dedicated to your time zone, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So what this means for anybody in the UK is simple. If I can't meet the time in the morning for 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., I can join the class for those in the US or Canada, which would roughly be 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. my time in the UK. If I'm in Nigeria, it's similar time zone. If I'm in Europe, in Poland, in Germany, in Belgium, wherever I am in Europe, it's similar time zones to the UK time zone. So you have the opportunity to join a class in the morning or join a class in the evening. All right. Now let's move to the next career path. And your learning timeline is for 8 months, 6 months learning and 2 months internship. But what we've seen is that people land jobs after 3 months, 4 months. And because we encourage you to apply to jobs even before you complete the program. You don't wait until you are done before you apply. You start applying early. The moment you learn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skills, you start applying to jobs because organizations are there that require the skills that you have at that point in time. And that's exactly what ICMAT did. ICMAT joined the business analysis program, and ICMAT currently works with the NHS as a business architect. I'm going to play ICMAT's video for you before we wrap up. I want you to listen to her. She got her job about, I think, 3 months into her program. She hadn't even completed the program before she got a job. And that was simply because she listened to the advice and mentorship of the career coaches. The moment you learn specific set of skills, start putting in your application, start going for interviews. Okay, so let's go to the next career path, and that is the Agile Project Management Program. Again, as an Agile Project Manager or the Healthcare Project Manager, your skills, tools, and technologies are pretty much the same. But now, what's the difference? The difference is for the Healthcare Project Manager, you'd work on 80% of your projects are healthcare related. Now, 20% of the projects would be other sectors. So it's not like you will not work on other projects within retail or projects within banking and so on. You'd work on other projects in other sectors, but you'd predominantly focus on healthcare if you're in the healthcare project management program. Okay, so that's the way it's structured. Same with the business, the healthcare business analysts and the business analyst program as well. So if you're in healthcare business analyst, 80% would be healthcare related projects, while 20% would be in other sectors. Okay, but what does the Agile project manager do? Or what's the role of the Agile project manager? So you remember that patient management system we talked about, the PMS, that the hospital wants to build to make their process more efficient rather than having manual paper entry. So for an organization that has a project manager, when the business analyst identifies the problem, come up with the requirements of what that patient management system should have, they transfer it to the project manager to manage the project. So the Agile project manager is somebody who leads teams to deliver projects in a step-by-step process while adapting quickly to change. So the Agile project manager does not start and finish a project and complete the entire project. They deliver the project in bits and pieces. So the Agile project manager would break the project into multiple workflows or multiple tasks called sprints. And I'll explain. So let's say the project, let me bring this back. So let's say the patient management system is meant to have booking. Customers can book appointments online. Customers can track their records online. Doctors can track, the patient's records online. Billing is integrated. These are three different features. So the project manager would break it down into multiple parts. Sprint 1 would be online booking. Sprint 2 would be online record tracking. This is just giving an example. So, and Sprint 3 would be billing integration. Now, when the project manager breaks it down into bits and pieces, it simply means that I don't have to complete the entire project before I can deploy. So let's complete Sprint 1. Sprint 1 is going to take us about 2 weeks. Work with the team, plan the sprint, deliver Sprint 1. We've delivered the patient management system. Now patients can book their appointments online, and we deploy it to the users. So as the users make use of that platform, as they start to book, appointments online, we start to see where there are issues. They give us feedback, and the project manager would then do what? Take that feedback and use that to make the system a whole lot better. When you're done with Sprint 1, you move to Sprint 2. Integrate online record tracking. When you're done with Sprint 2, you move to Sprint 3, which is integrate billing. So you don't wait until you've done online booking, online record tracking, and billing integration before you deploy. No, that is the beauty of Agile. Agile is you can build the patient management system, build it for the online booking first of all, and deploy. And you start to update and integrate other features across different sprints. So the project manager would break it into small tasks, coordinate the team daily, hold daily stand-ups, remove obstacles and blockers. If the team has a problem, has an obstacle, it's your role as a project manager to remove those obstacles. You review the work that has been done, looking at the requirements and making sure that what has been done meets the requirements. And you also get to improve on the process by looking at carrying out something called retrospectives, discuss what worked, what should improve in the next sprint, and so on and so forth. The beauty about this is you don't need to have gained any work experience as an agile project manager. Everything you do, you'd learn that in class. You do that during your internship. You would learn by doing the job. So on day one, when you get that job, you know how to use Confluence to collaborate on projects. You know how to use Jira to track project deliverables. You know how to use Trello to track your team members' tasks and responsibilities, and so on and so forth. And that's the beauty of learning the right way. Okay. So that's who the agile project manager is and the healthcare project manager. The difference is for the healthcare project manager, you work within the healthcare ecosystem and not across different other areas. But the way we've built the program and the curriculum is in a way that 20% of the projects you would complete would be in other sectors and not just healthcare. So this gives you the latitude to also apply to jobs within other sectors, even though you've completed the healthcare project management program. Again, the timing is similar, just like the first one, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. UK time for those in the UK, Europe, Africa, similar time zones. For those in the US, Canada, North America, it's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain time, which is roughly 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the UK. So if I'm in the UK or I'm in Nigeria or somewhere in Europe, I can either join a class in the morning, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., or I join a class in the evening, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. You have that flexibility. All right. Now let's go to the data analyst. So you have the data analyst and you have the healthcare data analyst. Amazing career path. Okay. Now, who is a data analyst? The data analyst is somebody who uses data to help organizations make better decisions, simply put. So let's take, for example, Tesco wants to know which product generates the most profit. Okay, or Sainsbury wants to know which product generates the most profits and which store performs the best. The data analyst will take data across the different Sainsbury's or across the different Tesco's and analyze the data to identify which product is the top selling product, which store is the highest performing, the lowest performing, and so on and so forth. What is the customer buying pattern? What do customers buy when they come into any of our stores? That's what the data analysts will do. They take the data, they analyze the data to identify how the organization is performing so that they can give recommendations for the business to take decisions. For the healthcare data analysts, these are professionals that use data, but this time around, not retail data like Tesco or Sainsbury or customer data. They take medical data, healthcare records, clinical research data, and so on to help medical organizations make better decisions. For example, a hospital wants to know why patient wait times are very long in the emergency department. The healthcare data analyst will take the hospital records to identify when during the week does the hospital receive the most patients, or which departments are overloaded with patients, and how long do patients wait before they get to see a physician. These are questions the healthcare data analyst would help the hospital understand by taking the hospital records and analyzing the data. So the insights they generate from that data would help the hospital improve staffing and also help to reduce the wait time for patients. And how do you become a data analyst or a healthcare data analyst? You need the healthcare domain. So you need to have healthcare experience, healthcare knowledge. You're a care worker, you're a support worker, you're a nurse, you're a physician, you have a master's in, healthcare. You have something related to healthcare, which is called domain knowledge. And if you don't have the domain knowledge, what do? We teach you the domain knowledge during the program when you work on all these healthcare related projects. Okay. So you learn problem solving, you learn Excel, SQL, structured query language, Power BI, Tableau, data storytelling, telling a story to non-technical stakeholders in a way they can easily understand the technical jargons you're saying. Okay, AI for analytics using ChatGPT and Microsoft Fabric as well. The timeline is similar to the other programs I shared. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for those in the UK, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. UK time for those in the US, or if you want to use the US timing, that'll be 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain time. The timeline is also similar, 6 months learning, 2 months internship. Now you have the financial analyst and the HR analyst. A financial analyst analyzes financial data. A financial analyst is a data analyst. The difference is the financial analyst focuses on what? Financial data. And they analyze this financial data to help companies make better money-related decisions, better financial-related decisions. For example, what are revenue and expenses, the company's profits, investment opportunities, financial risk analysis. You want to buy a new business, you carry out something called valuation. You build financial models to look at the best case, the base case, the worst case scenarios, and so on and so forth. The HR analyst, on the other hand, is also a data analyst that focuses on what? HR data or people data. So they use employee data to help organizations make decisions better. All right. And let's take an example. So let's say a company notices that a lot of employees are leaving within the first 1 year. So after they join, within a year, the employee leaves and the company is worried. So what does the HR analyst do? They'll get the employment data, hiring data, the exit surveys of employees, salary and benefit information, department turnover rates, and so on. And they analyze to identify these resignation, are they tied to specific managers, specific departments, specific compensation levels, and so on and so forth to find out where is the problem really. And they use that analysis to help the company understand why people are leaving and to improve the retention rates. That's the HR analyst. You're a data analyst, but your focus is on what? HR data. Okay. So, and of course, for somebody who wants to analyze people data, for somebody who has, a flair for people, human resources, you have that experience, you worked in business administration, okay, you have a background in psychology or something around that. It's a fantastic career path for you to get in. Now, all the programs I'm sharing with you today, or I'll be sharing with you, are all built and designed with the beginner in mind. We expect you don't have any experience. So everything from start to finish, you get to learn that during the program. So you don't need financial experience to get into financial analytics. And that's why when you learn your data skills like problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL, you get to learn accounting fundamentals, financial analysis, financial modeling, valuation, sensitivity, and scenario analysis, and generative AI for financial analytics using ChatGPT. And remember, you're not learning this the same way you learned in the university, where you are writing notes and learning theories. No, you'd learn by doing the work. You'd analyze financial statements. You'd build financial models from scratch, from your assumptions to you building the model. You build it from scratch. So when you get that job, you know exactly what it takes to build a model. You know exactly what it takes to do your sensitivity and scenario analysis and so on and so forth. And the HR analysts, you learn your data skills from problem solving to Excel to Power BI, SQL, and then you move into HR analytics and performance evaluation, HR metrics and lifecycle, analysis and dashboarding, collaboration and report automation, building your case and creating action, and finally, generative AI for the HR analyst using ChatGPT. The timeline, similar to the others, 6 months learning, 2 months internship. And last but not the least is the product designer. Okay. So for those who want to get into product design, who is a product designer? A product designer is responsible for how digital products look and feel. For example, we're currently on Zoom. Before the software Zoom was developed or built, a product designer, a UI UX designer, a user interface and user experience designer, what they do is where every button should be, they design where it should be. They designed how the chat feature would look like. They designed where the audio button should be, where the video button should be, how to share, and all those things. They design it before the software developers take that and build the software. So a product designer, if you look at your banking applications, your websites, and all those things you do, and you start to look at how it looks and how it feels, the experience of going through that application or software, the product designer is responsible for that. So the product designers are creatives. So you know, if you're a graphic designer, you have a flair for creativity. You like to do some, interior decoration, makeup design, you are in the creative arts and so on and so forth. These are people with a background that will thrive in product design. So you get to learn user experience foundation and research, usability testing, portfolio, and AI in product design. You'd learn how to build wireframes, visual designs, learn how to prototype, and so on and so forth. Okay. You'd learn that using Framer, Figma, which will be one of your major tools and one of your major tool and technology. You'd learn how to use Claude for your AI in product design, and of course, Notion as well. Okay. So again, for the product design, the classes are a little bit different. Unlike the other programs that have sessions for the UK time zone and US time zone, product design only has sessions for the UK time zone, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. So everybody joins the same time on Saturdays. Every other day, on a Monday, Tuesday, just like the other programs, your live classes are on Saturdays. Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, you join something we call your LMS, the learning management system. And I'll show you what that looks like. And this is where, at your convenience, any day, anytime, you can watch your videos, practice on your own, and you can book a session any day of the week. If you have questions or you want somebody to help you address something, any day of the week, from Mondays all the way to Friday, you can book a session. Somebody joins a call with you, show you what needs to be done, and then you jump into a class on Saturday again for your live sessions. All right. So these are the skills you need to thrive in all the career path that I've shared with you. In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you how to get the sponsorship. I've shown you how to get the job. So now if anybody asks you, do I need this particular set of tools or technologies if I want to become a data analyst or a business analyst and so on? You know exactly what to tell them. The answer is yes, you need this tool, you need that tool, you don't need this, you don't need that. Now you know. And I've given you the strategy from number 1 to number 4 on how to get the job. Now we are moving to how to get the sponsorship. Okay. Now there are different ways, and I'm going to share 4 different broad strategies for you. Okay. First of all, you want to start with exclusive job boards. And what are the exclusive job boards? This is where you apply to jobs that have visa sponsorship. They are exclusively visa sponsored jobs. Okay. And I'll share about 4 of them with you. So most of them are paid. If all of them are paid, the exclusive job boards like UK Visa Jobs, Visa Jobs HQ, what we do at Analytics is we scrape visa sponsored jobs from across multiple job boards that are paid and people don't have access to. We get those jobs, we vet the jobs, and then we send them to you. So when you see Tenalytics here as an exclusive job board in your classroom, and I'll show you what this looks like. If you go to your classroom, you'd see jobs posted for you. So if you scroll all the way to the top in your classroom, you'd see something called job offers. If you go to the job offers, you'd see the jobs that we've scraped and we've made available for you to apply to in different healthcare organizations. With the NHS in the UK, does it have visa sponsorship? True, 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 true. This means these jobs come with what? Visa sponsorship. In Canada, in the US, and so on. So we post these jobs for you in your classroom. Now, these are jobs that not everybody would have access to because they are paid. We scrape them from paid platforms. So it gives you the opportunity to apply to jobs a lot earlier and apply to jobs that your counterparts don't have access to. So you get the interviews a lot faster. Now, that's number one. Number two, you have the Amdari job board. The Amdari job board is when you start your internship, you have access to the Amdari job board. Again, I'll show you what it looks like very quickly. So the Amdari job board looks like this. So when you start your internship, on your platform, you'd see job board, you click on that and you'd see the different job boards available, the different jobs. You see the ones that come with visa sponsorship, visa sponsorship, visa sponsorship, visa sponsorship, and so on. All you have to do is come in here and type the job you want to apply to. I want to apply to a data analyst role. Okay. And I'll see jobs, visa sponsorship, and I can start applying business analyst, project manager, and so on and so forth. That's the Amdari visa sponsored jobs. And of course, you have other job boards like UK Visa Jobs, Visa Jobs HQ. The beauty about these job boards, of course, we also subscribe to this, and we scrape those jobs and we make them available to you. So you don't have to go subscribe. Once you've joined, you've paid for any of the programs, you get access to the jobs from all these platforms. We make them available to you. So you're applying to jobs that are exclusively visa sponsored jobs. That's strategy number one. So you can't want to get something unique, something out of the ordinary, something unconventional, and you are doing the same thing everybody else is doing. You get the result everybody else gets, which is no jobs, no sponsorship. So you must have a different strategy. And that's number one. Now, number two is the general job boards. Of course, you'd have access to the general job boards. Some of our favorites are the NHS jobs, remote rocket ship, Hanam, and so on and so forth. Again, I've kept all the links for you right there. Okay. So if I click on NHS jobs, for example, I want to apply to a job as a project manager. So healthcare project management. Okay. Go to search. And I simply just come in here and I search for project manager. And I click on search, and you'd see numerous project manager roles, 9,931 jobs found. And I can start to apply. Project manager, digital project manager, senior project manager, digital, research project manager. And I can start putting in my application to these different jobs. Same, I want to get a job as a data analyst or information analyst. So data analysts can get jobs as information analyst. Healthcare data analysts can get jobs as information analyst, and so on and so forth. Okay. So I just type data analyst, click on search. Again, you'd see numerous jobs available. ECPR data analyst, and project officer. We had one of our participants that got an interesting job called pathology data analyst, also with the NHS. This is epidemiological analyst, also an interesting job title. Okay, so we show you where and how to apply to all these different jobs. And some of the platforms we really love: Hanam, Remote Rocket Ship, NHS Jobs, and so on. But these are the general job boards. Now, the third strategy is a strategy we call stoop to conquer. is one of our most interesting strategies that help people land jobs very fast with sponsorship. And this strategy is simply defined by, I want to use an analogy to explain exactly how it works. Now, imagine you want to get into a castle. You want to see the king in a castle. And there is a main gate to get into that castle. What you would find is a lot of people would stand in front of that castle at the main gate to get in. They'll wait for the gate to be opened. So you'd have a very long line. The guards will be very strict with the main gates because everybody wants to get in through that gate. That's what everybody does today with visa sponsorship. They want to only apply to jobs that come with visa sponsorship. So when you look for jobs that come with visa sponsorship only, what you are doing is you want to get into that castle going through the main gates. So the companies are strict with the application process. And it's also very difficult to get those visa sponsored roles. And I've seen people make this mistake. They only apply to jobs that have visa sponsorship. And at the end of the day, guess what? They can't get those jobs. They have to leave the UK and go back to their home country. But in that same castle, there's a side gate. There's a side entrance. A lot of people don't know about the side entrance, but you know about the side entrance. So you go to the side entrance and you try to get in through the side entrance. And what are you doing by doing that? What you're doing by going to the side entrance is simply getting that job, even though it doesn't state visa sponsorship. You get in through the side, get into the castle. And when you get in, you prove your worth. You show them how good you are. You show them how reliable you are. And you make yourself hard to replace. So you apply to jobs that don't only state visa sponsorship. You apply to jobs with companies that have the license to sponsor. And when you get into those companies, you prove your value, show them how good, you give them 200%. Make yourself difficult to replace, and then you make a request for sponsorship. So what you are doing is you are no longer asking as an outsider before you get in that you want to get sponsorship. You've gotten in already, and now you're negotiating as somebody from the inside. It's a different ball game entirely. Okay. So what you can do is you can use a list of licensed sponsors. This is available publicly. If you click on this link, it takes you to the registered licensed sponsors and all of that. You can download the CSV, you filter to your own specific city, and you'd see the different companies with the license to sponsor and all of that. And you can start looking for jobs within those organizations. But better still, you can use this platform, Company Jobs, where you have a database of companies and the COS they have issued over the past year. And the beauty about using a platform like this is simple. It shows you organizations that have issued huge and large amounts of COSs. And I want to ask this question again before I show you how to utilize this, okay? If I have company A that issued, let's say, 25 COSs the previous year, and I have company B that issued 1,000 COSs, which of these companies, A or B, would easily issue the next COS to me? Company A or company B? Just type into the chat A or B. Samuel says B, absolutely. Tari says B. B simply because B has issued numerous COSs. So it means they don't have issues, they don't have problems issuing COSs to candidates. And if I get a job in this company, I give them value. I show them that I'm reliable. I make myself hard to replace. And I request for a COS as long as that role is eligible for sponsorship, which is why how we started is very important. And as long as it meets all the requirements, the salary thresholds, and so on and so forth, you are likely going to get sponsorship for that role. That's the strategy called stoop to conquer. So don't enter the castle only through the front gates. Enter through the side door, the side gate, get in, show value, show them you are the best candidate, show them it's difficult to replace you because you've gone above and beyond. And then you make your request. Okay. So that's one of the strategies that has helped amazing people to land jobs, a lot of people to transition. And number four is recruitment agencies. Okay. Now, I want to show you how to utilize this very quickly. So you'd see different companies and the COSs issued and so on and so forth. Okay. Cognizant has issued about 1,948. Now, what I would simply do is I can go on LinkedIn. You can do this on LinkedIn or on Google, but let's use LinkedIn. I'll go on LinkedIn and I'll type Cognizant. Cognizant is one of the biggest um, data consulting companies in the UK, across the globe actually, but majorly in the UK. Cognizant, if I click on Cognizant, it's going to take me to their page and I want to look for jobs. Okay, so I'll click to go to the company's LinkedIn page and I'll start to see the jobs they have available. Okay, let's see jobs, recent openings. You can see business analyst, workday data principal consultant. You can see some of the jobs they have available, right? So I'll simply go to show all jobs, show all jobs, um, recommended jobs for you, recently posted jobs, show all jobs. I want to see all the jobs. So I simply come here and I don't want to see worldwide. I want to tailor it to my own region. So I'd come in here and type United Kingdom. Okay. They have a role for a data analyst, retail, consumer goods, hospitality. I will be applying to this job. Why? Because Cognizant has the license to sponsor, number one. Cognizant has issued 1,980 plus COSs. So if I get this job, even though it doesn't state a visa sponsored role, I want to get in and start showing them the value I can bring, on board, showing them I'm the best person for this role and how reliable I am. Okay. And I can search for other roles that they have, cybersecurity expert, cloud engineer. I can see all those different roles and I can start putting in my application. This is one way to do it. Another way is to simply go to the company's career page. Ernst& Young, EY is also one of the organizations that issues a lot of COSs. So I can simply go to EY, Ernst& Young, UK careers. And I just search for that on Google and I'll see careers at EY UK. I click on that. It takes me to their career page. Now, remember, you are getting the companies from here. So if I click on number 2, so I see the different companies with the number of COSs they've issued, and I start. This is Ernst& Young, and the reason why I picked Ernst& Young, they've issued about 1,328. JP Morgan is another organization that issues a lot of COSs and so on. Okay. So I go to Ernst& Young. Let's go back. And I go to their career page and I want to search for jobs. So let's scroll down and see. Search for jobs, experienced professionals, early careers, contract opportunities. I'd come here and click on explore more. Let's see the jobs they have available and the jobs we can start to apply to. Okay, so I want to search and apply. So I click on that. So let's see if we can search and apply. Search by keyword. So I'll just come in here and I'll just type analyst or project manager or product designer or any of the roles I want to get into. Okay, and I click for search. It's currently showing for all locations. I can filter by location. Let's see. Show more options. Filter by country. Let's go to United Kingdom. All right. So I can see analysts, government and public sector, I can see analyst, retail, and I can start applying to these jobs. Okay. I can see the business analyst, technical business analyst, and so on and so forth. I apply to these roles and I get into the company. I'm not going through the front door by only indicating that this job must come with sponsorship. No, I'm going through the side door. I don't need sponsorship. I get in, I work for about a few months, show them how good I am, show them how reliable I am, never late to work, first to get in, last to leave. I show them I'm hard to replace. I'm showing them new things every day on how to do the work and so on and so forth. And then I make the request for sponsorship. So you can search for the jobs for that company either on LinkedIn or you go to Google, go to their career page and search, and you'd see numerous roles available that you can start to apply to. That strategy is the strategy we call stoop to conquer. It's an amazing one. And finally, recruitment agencies. So don't sit at the comfort of your home. Get off the couch. You've applied to jobs on exclusive job boards, from Tenalytics to Amdari to UK Visa Jobs, which would provide to you and so on. You've applied on general job boards. You've applied on the career pages of different organizations, just like I've shown you. Search for the recruitment agencies near you. Okay? Go there, create a profile, upload your CV, go there and speak to somebody and let them know I need sponsorship. I've created my profile. These are my skills and competencies and so on. And what you'd see more often than not is these organizations are also looking for candidates to refer to companies that have the license to sponsor you. And that's one of the best ways to also get in. Okay, so I've kept a few of the popular ones. You click there, go to their page, create a profile, upload your CV, and then search for the ones that are close to you. If you live in Leeds, you live in Bradford, in Doncaster, in Manchester, wherever you live, Birmingham, Belfast, Edinburgh, recruitment agencies near me. Go to the ones near you, have a conversation with one of their recruitment consultants, let them know what you want, and you'll be surprised the amount of opportunities available. These are just four out of so many other strategies that I can share with you, but we don't have enough time to go through every single one of them. We discuss and show you these strategies in a session we call Navigating the Job Market. Okay, navigating the job market. So when you join during your mentorship sessions, one of the things we discuss is navigating the job market, and we show you these strategies and so on how to apply and how to land jobs. And I've also made it easy for you to. I've highlighted different sectors in healthcare, in IT, in logistics, marketing, and media, and the companies that have the license to sponsor. And you can start searching for the career pages within these organizations and start applying to these jobs. But don't forget, you want to fill the attendance so you don't lose out on anything. You don't lose out on my slide. You get the slide at the end of the session. And this is what you want to do. You can't be conventional to get sponsorship in 2026. You have to be unconventional. And these are some of the ways you can be unconventional. And the advantage you have with Tenalytics is you gain the skills, you gain the experience with us, and we don't stop there. We also equip you with the employability skills and the winning application strategy. So everything I've shown today, we help you learn the skills in any of the career path that you've chosen. And when you learn the skill, we help you do what? Package and present you as the best candidate for the job. You gain work experience with us. We revamp your CV for you. So one of the things you're also going to see in your classroom is where to submit your CV. Upload your CV here for revamp. You upload your CV, we revamp the CV, and we send you an industry standard CV for the career path that you've chosen. We help you optimize your LinkedIn profile. We help you, show you how to create a portfolio. You join our mentorship sessions every Thursdays in the evenings. Our mentorship sessions, this is the cohort that started in February. The last session they had was on LinkedIn optimization. And the session before that was how to explain career changes. I took this session. It's a practical session that shows you, for those of you that have career gaps, for those of you moving from medical devices like Samuel to, let's say, business analysis, how do you explain that career change? I had a live session on that during one of the mentorship sessions. And if for any reason you missed this session, the recording is available. You click on that. That's me right there. So that's me right there, walking you through exactly what you need to do, common mistakes to avoid, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it's a practical session. We did a live role play, and the role play involved somebody. I was asking, the person played the role of the interviewee, and I was the interviewer. What's the best way to answer a question? What's the wrong way to answer? And we had an amazing session like that. So these are some of the things you gain during your mentorship session: interview simulation, and a session on you must get a job. This was a session by the co-founder of Tenalytics, Efemena. And again, for anybody who missed the session, you can join it right here. Practical sessions on how to utilize different AI tools in job application. Practically, you'd go on LinkedIn, you'd go on different job boards, and you'd see how to track your jobs using an amazing platform called CV Matchly. CV Matchly AI, which everybody gets. If you join, I'll show you how you get access to the CV Matchly. So gone are the days where you have to tailor your jobs yourself. No, CV Matchly tailors the job for you. CV Matchly tracks the jobs you've applied to. So when you get an interview and you're confused, which job are they interviewing me for? Guess what? You log into CV Matchly, which is connected to your LMS, and then you can go to the jobs you've applied to and download the CV. You see the job you applied to, you see the CV you used to apply, and we use that to prepare you for your interview. All right. So when you have an interview coming up, we prep you for that interview. Interview prep. And how do you get prepped for an interview? You don't need to speak to anybody. Just log into your LMS. This is what your learning management system looks like. And this is the platform where, if you've joined, say, HR analytics, for example, all you need to do is any day of the week, anytime, come in here, click on continue learning, and you can watch your videos at your own convenience. You don't need to wait to join a class. You can watch your videos any day, anytime, anywhere, and you get to practice and solve problems. And if you have an interview, you go to your dashboard, click on the dashboard, and you'd see where you have interview preparation. Let me maximize this a little bit. Okay, you'd see where you have interview preparation. You click on schedule mock interview. Fill all your details right here. What stage is the first round, of the interview? When is the date of the interview? The interview is on, let's say, Tuesday the 24th. Okay. On Monday the 23rd, somebody would join a session to prepare you for that interview. You copy the link, post the link to the job, copy and post the job description, upload the CV that you've used to apply, and somebody would join a session to prepare you for that interview. Okay. And this is CV Matchly. You have CV Matchly AI on your LMS. And all you have to do is, once you are logged in, you have access to CV Matchly. So when you want to apply to a job, you don't need to start thinking of how do I tailor my CV to the job. Just go to the job board. It could be on read.co.uk. It could be on any job board, Glassdoor, Indeed. CV Matchly would take the job description and tailor your CV to that job for you. And you get access to this for free, but not for everybody, for those who will be joining today. And I'll speak a little bit about that when we get there. All right. We provide you with a job reference, And when you get that job and things are a little bit difficult in terms of you get a project you've never done before, we have on the job support where we work with you for a month to ensure you have a solid footing on that job. And of course, we show you how to tailor your CV. Never use one CV for multiple applications. The number of jobs you have to apply to per day, and we tap into the paid and the hidden job market. We pay to those job boards, you don't have to pay, and we make the jobs available to you. That's how you get the job. That was what Esther did. Esther was a care worker, but today, Esther is a contract project officer with the UK Civil Service after completing the project management program. Okay, you have this amazing professional who got, her sponsorship sometime last year. Mary also had no experience in tech. She joined our business analysis program, completed our program sometime last year in 2025, and she got her sponsorship in March 2025. And this is the screenshot she shared with us. Okay, your application for the skilled worker route of the immigration rules has been successful. Okay, you have been granted permission to stay in the UK as a skilled worker until 13th of March 2030. So she's on a pathway to ILR, and of course, hoping that the new rules are not applied retrospectively to affect people who are already on that pathway. You have this amazing professional. He was an operations manager back in Nigeria. Today, he's a pathology data analyst with the Southeast NHS Foundation Trust and so many other professionals. Gad was a student, mechanical engineering background. Today, Gad works with the NHS as a data warehouse and ETL developer. I can keep on going on and on and on. All right. So what does it take for you to start today? And I remember I promised to play the video of Ramat. I'm going to play that video. I want you to listen to Ramat. Ramat was in customer service. Today, she's a business architect with the NHS. Okay, so we're going to listen to Ramat just for about 2.5 minutes, and then I'll show you how to start. For those of you willing to get your journey started, you want to land a job, you also want to get jobs that are eligible for sponsorship. How do you get started today? Okay, I'll show you what to do and how to start. But first, let's listen to Ramat. Okay, so we're going to listen to Ramat for about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and I'll come back to wrap up the session. So enjoy, sit back, relax, and enjoy Ramat's story. Remember, Ramat was in customer service. Today, she's with the NHS as a business architect.
But I started as a customer service rep for British Gas. So British Gas is like an energy providing company that's based in the UK. So suppliers of energies and gas. So I was working with them as their customer service rep, answering calls, queries about the product and services they offer. So that was what I did for about a year when I got here until my breakthrough with analytics.
I'm very interested in that breakthrough. Tell me about that breakthrough. How did it start? How did you hear of them? And what gave you the conviction to try them out? What is your experience like?
Okay, let me start from how I heard about them. So I was talking to my cousin. My cousin is in the UK as well. She did data analytics with analytics. So I was telling her, because I was on mat leave at the time, and I didn't just want my mat leave to just go like that, being that I wasn't even really interested in the customer service role. I wanted to be more. So I talked to her and said, I was looking at doing something like around business analytics. That does she know anybody, any edu company, just like analytics that I can enroll with and all of that. And she said, oh, that's really good, because she just finished a data analytics course with analytics and all of that I would really enjoy them. She mentioned Adiza. She mentioned a few people from Tenalytics that really helped her during her own time. I was like, is it really good? She was like, it's really, really good. And then she said there used to be a master class that I can attend that and just hear from them first before I fully enroll with them and all of that. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. She sent me the link to the master class, and then that was it for me. Like, I didn't even have to think twice. Immediately I did the master class, I enrolled immediately because I knew this was what I wanted. They were just spilling it. Adiza was the one, I remember. It was the one that held the master class with one other person, and it was telling us all the benefits, all the things that we will learn in the space of about 3 months, how it will be practical enough to carry that knowledge into our job. Like when we eventually land the job, that's enough experience. And to be honest, it was practical enough because that was all that helped me. So that was how I began my journey with Analytics. I enrolled with them and started around it was around April, if I can remember correctly, April 2023.
Okay, but you open the link.
That was when I started with Analytics. And it was supposed to be 3 months. 3 months, 1 month for the theoretical aspect, and then I think 2 months for the practical. You have like a group where you practicalize all the things that you've been taught. They give you a project, they assign a project to your group, and then you partake, you do all the things that you would actually do on the job, you do it with them. So that took about 2 months or so. But I tell you for a fact, I started immediately after my first month with them. I already knew what I wanted. So I started enrolling for jobs and all of that. I'd not even finished my practicals before I got a job as a business analyst in one of the trusts in NHS. And that's where I still work currently. So it was that good. It was that good. All the things they taught us, all the practicals that I started to learn like bit by bit, because I already mentioned that I haven't even finished. So that was what I put into the CV, into my supporting statements. And the good thing, what even crowned it up for me was when I got the interview, I told Adiza about it, and then there was a proper prep, like interview prep that I did that just prepped me comprehensively for the job. It was one of the facilitators in charge then that just prepped me, and then that was it. I got in there and smashed it, and I got the job.
So that's Ramat. Okay, I'm going to stop there because of time, of course, but that's amazing, amazing Ramat. Today, Ramat still works with the NHS, and the reason why I like sharing Ramat's story is she got the job and she knew how to do the job, and that's the only reason why she is still on the job up till today. Okay, for those of you that have forgotten Ramat, that's Ramat right there. Customer service transitioned to business architect with the NHS. Absolutely fantastic, phenomenal professional. And if you listen to what Ramat said, she was very categorical about how she got that job. She didn't wait until she was done. She started applying. So she got a job even before she completed. When she had her interview, somebody prepped her for that interview. So she knew what to say when she got into the room. And the project she had completed formed the experience she shared when she got into the room. And remember, if you're applying to the NHS, the application process is a bit different. We helped her with her supporting statements and so on and so forth. And eventually, she was able to land that job. Okay. So for those who are looking to start, how do you start? That's the big question. What does it take? Our next cohort starts on the 11th of April, 2026, and you have the opportunity to get in at an amazing. Remember the reason I said I shared a lot of ladies today. So I have an amazing offer for the ladies in the house. Okay. Also, I have for the men too. So for the men who are interested, I have an amazing offer, but majorly for the ladies. So for those looking to start on the 11th of April, 2026, this is the International Women's Month. So we have 50% off for women getting into tech. Okay, so we have partners who have backed us with over $250,000 to provide 50% scholarship to 300 women and 100 men. So instead of making payments of $1,200, you get to pay just $600 to start your journey. So getting into a career path in 2026 starts from here. You can't be conventional and get different results from what everybody else is getting. You have to do things differently. So for those interested in health tech, data analytics, business analysis, agile project management, product design, any of the career path I've shared, instead of $1,250, you get to pay just $600. You get the scholarship to become one of the people to benefit from the 50% off. Okay. Now, how does this work and how do you get started? How do you take advantage of the scholarship? We started this at the beginning of the month to commemorate the International Women's Month. And the reason why we do this is simple. In the tech ecosystem today, women only represent 25% of the roles available within the tech ecosystem. It is predominantly, men dominating the sector. So we get sponsorship, we get backers, we get project partners that provide scholarship for women to increase the representation of women into tech. So if you're a lady today, just like ICMAT was a beneficiary of this scholarship. Okay, for those of you who can't remember ICMAT, this is ICMAT, the stay-at-home lady who transitioned into the NHS information analyst. She was a beneficiary, and today she's landed a job. Okay, and there's so many other beneficiaries as well. So for those of you interested in getting started, this is the best place for you to start. All right. So how do you register? How do you take advantage? I'm going to walk you through that. My colleagues would share the link. I have opening just for the first 20 people, not for everyone. Okay. So we're about 85 on the call. I have openings for this session just for the first 20 people to register. So you want to make sure you are a part of the first 20 so you don't miss out on the discounts. Okay. Like I said, we started this at the beginning of the month and a lot of people have taken advantage. I have 20 people to give the scholarship today. So if you know this is something you want to do, you want to transition into any of these career paths, once you click on this link, and I'll show you and walk you through how to, take advantage, it's going to take you to a page that looks like this. All right. It takes you to the enrollment page. And from here, you can select any of the programs you are interested in. It doesn't matter the program you select, the discount would apply to you. So data analytics, health tech analyst, that's the healthcare data analyst, healthcare business analyst, the HR analyst, any of the programs you select. So let's say I'm interested in data analytics, for example. I click on enroll. Okay, so it takes me to the data analytics program. And all I need to do is click on enroll now. So once I click on that, it opens up the page for me to create a profile. So I enter my name and I'm going to enter an email. Okay, so just give me 1 second and I would enter an email. So you'd see exactly the same thing you'd see when you're trying to register as well. Two people have already made payments even before I've gone through the steps on how to pay. We have about 2 payments already. So remember, we have just 20 slots available. So I come in here, I enter my email, I enter my phone number. You'd get an OTP to your phone number. So make sure your phone number is correct. Check it well. So you'd also get an OTP. I've read the terms and conditions and I sign up. So the moment I sign up, a profile will be created for me and I get access to join. So I can join either the April cohort, which starts on the 11th of April on Saturday, or I can join the May cohort. So if, for example, you don't want to start in April, the cohort that starts in April, you want to start in May because you have some commitments in April, you can always select May to get started. Okay. So I want to start immediately. I don't want to push this can down the road anymore. So I select April and you can also select your payment plan. So even though you have to pay a discounted fee. That's for those taking advantage of the scholarship of $600. You can also make your payments in multiple installments. And that's the beauty of getting in easily. Okay. So you can make a one-time payment of 600 if you want. Pay it once and know that I'm done, dusted, I've made my payments. I want to focus on this head on. Or you want to make payments in multiple installments. You select 3 installments and then you'd pay $200 to start and you pay $200 in the subsequent month. So what it takes for you to start is just $200. And if I'm paying in pounds, I can change the currency right here. I can come in here, change it from USD to pounds. So what it takes for me to start on the 11th of April is just 153 pounds. That's one visit to Primark. Okay, 153 pounds. So I select that. I make my first payment today. I take advantage of the scholarship, and then next month in April and next month in May, I complete my payment, and I'm on my journey towards transitioning into a high demand career path. Now, this is how much I pay today. If I'm paying in pounds, if you want to pay in Canadian dollars, you can select that. You want to pay in euros, you can select euros, or you want to pay in naira, you can select that as well. Okay. Now let's assume my next payment comes in on the 21st of April, but my salary comes in on the 25th, for example. I can change the date right here. So I come in here, click on the date. I want my second payment to come in on, let's say 27th, which is on Monday, and I click on save. So your first payment comes in today on the 21st of March. Second payment comes in on the 27th. At least you select the dates that suits your, when you get your salaries and things like that. So you're not stressed. It's a lot flexible. You click on confirm payments. I've read the terms and conditions. So if you click on this, it takes you to the terms and conditions. Select I've read, click on pay now, confirm all your details and click on pay now. So the moment you click on pay now, it takes you to the payment portal. If you have your card connected to Link, you can pay using Link, or you can simply pay using your credit or debit card. So if I enter my card details, for example, I'll just show you how this plays out. Okay, so I enter my card details, enter my name, Adeza Suleiman, and my postcode, your country, select all of that and click on pay. Now, the moment you click on pay, what happens? Your payment is confirmed. Once your payment is confirmed, you'll be required to validate your email. So that's why your OTP, the email you've entered and the phone number you've entered is very important. All right. So my payment is confirmed. I need to validate my email. So I'll simply come in here. I'll check for the OTP. Make sure you check your spam just in case you don't see it in your inbox. Check your spam and I'll enter my OTP. 968484. Okay, and I click on verify. So once my email is verified, I'll be required to complete my details. Country of residence, United Kingdom. Gender, select your gender. Indicate your preferred time. Okay, so what time do you want to join? 11 a.m. in the morning, that's when I want to join. Or you can select in the evening, 6 p.m. your time if you want to select that. How did you find out about, or select how you found out? Oh, I saw you guys on LinkedIn, or I saw you on Instagram. Select that. If you have an alternative email, you can drop that in as well, just in case you forget your email. What made you register? Enter that. Oh, I was impressed with the structure of the platform. I was impressed with the testimonials, whatever the case is, enter that. How much time do you want to commit per week? We always recommend at least 1 hour per day. So between 4 to 6 hours or 7 to 10 hours per week. So I select 4 to 6 hours, for example, complete setup. So the moment I click on complete setup, I gain access to the dashboard and you can see CV Matchly at the right-hand side. Like I said, you'll be required to complete a checklist. Okay. So you really cannot do anything until you complete your checklist. So I go to complete my checklist and step by step, I have to complete these 6 different tasks. Okay, so complete my onboarding. And first of all, I get to see my facilitators and the people that would guide me and support me through my journey. Okay, so you'd see your course facilitators, you'd see your data associate, your technical data associate, and so on and so forth. And then once you are done with this, you start to gain access to the dashboard. The beauty is, if even though you register today and you have an interview tomorrow, all you have to do is go to your dashboard. Okay, as long as you've completed your checklist, go to your dashboard and you can book your interview. If you haven't completed the checklist, you really can't do anything. But that's the beauty of registering early and taking advantage of the discounts. Now, in addition to people that register today, one of the two has to happen. It's either we get the first 20 people or between now and Sunday. So if you are one of the first 20 to register, you also get additional offer. So this is my second offer to you. All right. So if you are a lady, take advantage of the scholarship. If you are a guy, take advantage of the scholarship. We have 300 slots for women. We have 100 slots for the men. Okay. Currently, we have lesser than that because we started at the beginning of the month. So I have just 20 for this session. So if you're a guy, you're on this call and you think that, oh, maybe this is not for me, but I have a sister, I have a cousin, I have a niece that this would benefit, you can gift them this amazing career changing opportunity. All right. And for the first 20 people to register, you get something we call front of the line advantage, which includes you joining the founder circle. So you join the founder circle with myself, the co-founder, and we help you before you start your program. We help you, tailor your journey, guide you on how to get started, guide you on what to focus on, what makes the difference for you. So only an exclusive set of people that make payments, the first 20 people that will get advantage and get the opportunity to join the founder circle. Now, you'd also get access to the weekly mentorship immediately. So even though your program starts on the 11th of April, you can start your journey. You can start your mentorship from next week. Okay. So you have access to the mentorship sessions from next week, get to see amazing professionals, join the amazing sessions, learn from industry experts, and so on. So while others are waiting till 11th of April, because you are one of the first 20 people to register, you can start joining the mentorship sessions immediately. You'd also get access to a session coming up in April called Ask the Alternative Visa Pathways, especially the UK Global Talent Visa session. So for those of you who have heard about the Global Talents and you don't really know what it's all about, you don't know what it takes for you to apply, you think it's only about tech. No, the Global Talent also includes those that have, the creatives, the creative skills, arts and culture. All right. So would expose you into what the Global Talent Visa is all about, all the pieces of evidence that you need to apply. And we also provide you with the pieces of evidence for your recommendation that you need, which comes from us, provide you with that reference letter for those of you that would want to take advantage of that. So you get exclusive access to this, not for everybody. And finally, you also get lifetime access to employability. And what this means is, even though you are done or you've gotten a job and you want to get another job next year or in 2 years' time, you can still book an interview prep session and we will still help you prepare for that interview, write you a reference, and so on and so forth. And we've extended this to so many people. Okay, I'll give you an example of one person that took advantage of this. Her name is Sonia. Okay, Sonia left Nigeria sometime in 2022. She moved to the UK. Now, before she got this first job as a HR business partner with BAT in the UK, she joined our HR analytics program. We worked with her, prepared her for our interview. She got this job. Now, when she was moving into this job as a people partner, We also, supported her with referencing and so on. So 2 roles getting employability support. Another person that also took advantage of this is Idris. Idris at DBC, worked with Jaguar Land Rover in Coventry. He joined our data engineering program. We prepped him for this. He got this job. After getting the job, he moved from this role as a data engineer to a senior analytics engineer with a company called QuantSpark in London. Before he got this opportunity, he reached out again for referencing for this role, and we provided that for him. So this is what lifetime career support looks like. So it doesn't matter when, 5 years, 6 years down the line, you still want career support, we provide that for you. But you have to be one of the first 20 people to register to take advantage of that. Okay, so while so many people are reading this and waiting, a lot of people have moved forward with the priority access. Okay, so we currently have 11 people that have registered so far. We have 9 slots remaining. Okay, before I start taking questions, we wrap up our session today. We are also accredited by the American Council of Training and Development. So if you click on this link right here, it takes you to the ACTD website that shows the Tenalytics accreditation. Okay, and for those of you who would have questions, because one of the questions we always get is, what if I miss a class? What if I'm not available on Saturday and I get to watch the recording? Yes, the recording is available. I've watched the recording, but I need to have a session with somebody on a Wednesday or on a Tuesday or on a Monday. What happens? We have something called the drop-in session. So if you go to the drop-in session in your classroom, you can book a session with a professional any day of the week. For example, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I can book a session where a professional would join the call and address all the issues that I have so that I don't get into the next class carrying the same issues from the previous session because I missed that class on that day. And that's the level of support that you get. So there is no point where you're confused and you don't know what to do. I was having a conversation with somebody this week, and he's part of the founder circle for the March cohorts. And he was telling me that the level of communication is so amazing that Adeza, I think I'm not lost at any point because somebody's reaching out to me asking if I'm okay. I can book a session to clarify the issues I'm facing. And he was so impressed with the level of communication and the guidance that he was getting. And he only started on the 7th of March. That's the cohort that started in March. The next cohort would commence in April. Now, for those that will be going for the healthcare business analysis and the healthcare project management, you can only start in May. Your cohort would start in May. So you would notice that you can't select April. Okay. But for all the other programs, you can select April or you can select May. So I'm going to check the charts to see questions before we call it a day. So Patrick is asking, how does someone on a health and care visa do their internship or work experience without breaching? People always ask this question. Now, Patrick, you can only breach your visa restrictions if you're in health and care if you are working and getting paid for that work. Your visa doesn't stop you from studying. Your visa doesn't stop you from gaining new skills and new knowledge and new experience. But when you work in an industry outside healthcare and you get paid for that job, that's when you're breaching your visa stipulations. Okay. So you're learning with us, working with us does not breach your visa stipulations. Okay. I hope that helps to clarify. All right. I'm going to take more questions. So that's the same way everybody else has done it. So we are not paying you for working with us. It's on the contrary, you are paying to get, to join the program because you want to transition. Okay. And even though you are in health and care, it doesn't stop you from learning. It doesn't stop you from gaining new skills. It doesn't stop you from joining an internship as long as it is not what? Paid. So that's where you start to get into trouble if you get paid in a different industry when you're on the health and care visa. I saw a question, but it just okay. Daniel is asking if I switch from my current role as a carer to a data analytics job, will I need to restart? No, you don't need to restart your qualifying period for ILR. You continue with it. And there are so many people that have done this. Sharon did it. I think I showed you Sharon. Let me see if I can find. Let me go back to Sharon. Sharon did it. Okay. She transitioned, and all you just have to do is the new company you are moving into as a data analyst would also have to sponsor you. So your qualifying period continues. It doesn't stop. You don't have to start from, year one again. So if you are currently on your fourth year, your third year, you continue on that. And you don't have to reset. It doesn't reset the clock for you. Okay. I have a nursing